Assalamu alaikum, sir. I'm Hossein Al Jaber. My student ID is 2400411122. Here is my lab task for uh, 12 number lab, which was actually performed in online. I at that day I actually submitted only B, lab task B, but I couldn't run that in the terminal. So today I'm submitting the all three together with the execution and the explanation. So if I start from lab task A, so this is the lab task A, and here I was supposed to take the temperature as in Celsius or in Fahrenheit, and then I have to convert it into Fahrenheit or the Celsius. So the first one is the value and second one is mode. So what is the mode? Mode is actually the um, indication what we have to do, whether we have to convert the Fahrenheit to the Celsius or the Celsius to the Fahrenheit. So the first one value and the second one is mode. So the whole process would be conducted or performed using the command line arguments. So uh, to give the inputs and out and get the outputs in the command line or in the terminal, I used argc integer variable and uh, argv. So what is the value of argc here? At most, the at most value of argc can be 3 here. Why? Because we passed two strings and another would be passed from the operating system itself. So at most 3 can be passed here. What about we pass more than 3? So we can have a look in this test case where we pass more than 3 arguments. So it will actually cause an which will actually give output invalid command or print invalid command in the console. So to handle this test case, I wrote this logic. If argc is not equals to 3, then simply print invalid command and return 0, which actually means that terminate the code right here. No further checking. Okay, what if the argc is equals to 3? Then the other rest of the code will be executed. So the first condition that we are gonna check, oh yeah, so the argv2 is actually denoting our second string passed in the terminal, which is c2f or f2c, our mode itself. So if the mode is f2c, we actually are here comparing these two strings whether they are equal or not. If they are equal, that means that pass string the pass second pass the second pass string is f2c, then they are telling us to convert the Fahrenheit value to the Celsius one. So we took a float variable f where we are gonna store the Fahrenheit temperature. But the problem is here that the given input was in the string format. So what we have to do is convert it into integer value or into a float value. We actually converted into a float value. So we used a2f built-in function which actually converted the whole string into a float number, and then we stored that into f, and then we converted the Fahrenheit temperature into Celsius and then stored it into a float type variable c. And then what we did is converted the whole Celsius value into a integer type value. Why we did this? We have done this because the output was in actually in the format where there was no decimal values actually. So it was not 212.000, it is actually 212. So I actually round figured the total value, whatever the value is, and then the print statement here. And same way we actually wrote for the C2F mode. And what if it is not C2F and not even F2C? Then simply print invalid command. So this is our whole code, and I actually use this header file stdlib.h to use this built-in function a2f. So let's run it in the terminal. Here I have in this folder I have stored my all the tasks, and let's open it in the terminal. The name of my C file was this. I'm copying this. So first of all I have to compile this, the C file name, and then the exe file name. So the given one was temp, so I'm taking it as temp.exe. Compilation done, and then I'm just copying these inputs. Yes, it gave 212 as output, and then the second one, if we try, it should give output 0. Yes, it has also given output 0. What about this one? Yes, is it worked here as well. And the last two, it is also correct. And the final one here. So our code runs successfully. So in the last test case, the total number of arguments passed by us was 1, and the other one was from the OS. So total of 2 arguments were passed to the main function. So the value of argc was 2. So that was actually wasn't 3 equal to 3. That's why that actually also gave the output as invalid command. So let's move to the next one. Let us be. So right here, so here is our lab task B, which is which name is quiz. So here we have to define a structure named quiz with the following fields, where there would be title, answer key, student answers, and so on. And if the command is invalid, then we will print invalid command. And the given structure definition is this, and we have to execute this code by using two uh, function which will be declared by us, named calculate score and display quiz. And here the functionality of these functions are given, and they have said that we have to call these two functions in the main function, and the command that we are gonna pass through the terminal, and the output would be as like this. And if we um, give wrong inputs, then it would simply output as invalid command. So first of all, if we count the total arguments that we are gonna pass is 1 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, 9, 10, 11, and one extra for from the operating system, then the total sum is actually 12. So the value of argc in this program will be always 12. So at the beginning of the code, I am gonna check that whether the argc is 12 or not. If this is not 12, then we are gonna uh, terminate the code by printing just simply invalid command. Okay, then we have to uh, so we have inputted this, we have taken input these things as strings, which are actually stored, which addresses are actually stored in the argv uh, array, or whatever we call that. So then we what we are gonna do, we have declared is structure named quiz globally, where there would be string character arrays, multiple character arrays. So in this character array, the title, what is the title? Here the name of the exam is actually the title under this structure. So we actually in the main function declare a structure variable named q, and then the the string that we have taken as input and stored that into the argv one address, sorry, in the argv, that address we have stored in the argv one is sorry, the thing that is in the argv one will be copied in the q dot title uh, array as string. So the title has been stored in the under the structure variable, and then what we are gonna do is the we are gonna store this answer keys in this character array. So what we have done here, I have written the logic. So the first answer key, the second answer key, I equals 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on, here till 5. And here we are gonna get that value from the argv itself, because we took that as the strings passed to the main function itself. So why 2 plus I here? So the minimum value of I would be 0 here. So the first answer key that I have passed is stored in the argv 2, the address has been stored there. So to get that one, I have is actually I, because uh, uh, the second one, or right after this, which is actually rgb 3, stored in rgb 3. So that's why I've used I. And why I have why not I have just either I have just used argb 2 plus I, because that would just simply um, show me an address, not the character itself. So I took the 0 index 0, actually that was actually a 2d string, a 2d array. So the first if we just read if we just write one, I actually cannot express this totally in English, but আমি যদি এখানে হচ্ছে argb 2 লিখতাম, তাহলে জাস্ট এটা একটা অ্যাড্রেস রিপ্রেজেন্ট করতো। বাট আমি যেহেতু ওই যে argb ওই টু এলিমেন্টের যে টোটাল স্ট্রিংটা আছে ওটাকে দরকার, তার জন্য আমি হচ্ছে এখানে একটা আরো একটা যে 2d এর আরেকটা যে ইয়া ছিল সেটাও নিচ্ছি, রো কলাম দুইটাই নিচ্ছি। সো same goes for here for the student answer. But actually as we have taken 5 answer keys, so the argv uh, the last value for the argv was actually uh, 4, because the loop was from 0 to 4. So the last value of 8GB4 was actually our answer key. So here 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here our answer keys, a student answer actually starts. So we would actually add 7 with the I, and then we called the display quiz. So actually I have made a mistake here. As I can see, uh, the instruction was told to uh, do all the things in the main function, calling all the functions. So I'm deleting this one and writing this thing in the main function. Sorry. Okay. So here I have called the display quiz function and passed q variable as value. So q was, sorry, q, not q variable, structure variable q into the display quiz. So that right here we are gonna, first of all, we're gonna print the title of the exam name, then the answer keys, which are now stored in the answer key under the structure variable q dot answer key 0, answer key 1 till 4, actually the last one. Then we were gonna print the student answers as characters, and then this is the end. So here the display quiz function ends, and then it actually returns to the main function again and starts executing things from right here again. So it is actually telling me to print uh, the score. So for score we have declared another function. So in this function we actually passed q structure variable again. So initially the score was actually, we assumed that the score is 0, and then we actually conducted a loop here. So for this loop I actually started comparing the answer keys with the student answers. So if they matches, then I incremented the value of score by 1 each time, and then finally when the loop ends I get the matching characters, the number of matching characters, and then I return this one to this printf statement, and here I got the score and then printed thing. So let's run this into the terminal, and here is the terminal. I am again copying the name of the C file. So I have copied it. Now I am compiling this as I have been told to take the execution file as named quiz. I'm taking that as dot quiz.exe. So the C file has been compiled. Now we're gonna copy paste the whole test case. So my answer should be like this. So title midterm, answer key A B C D A, student answers ACCDB, score 3. So it's actually working. What about this one? Yes, it's actually working properly. So our, we can say the whole logics were correct here. So our task B is also done. Now the final one, which is task C, named tic tac toe. So what was actually mentioned in this problem, that they would give me a board, the status, the total board, which is actually a 3 by 3 board containing the characters X or O, which actually represent the persons, not O, actually 0. So If we just check the inputs, so here x represents a player and 0 another player. What about the underscore? That the in this in this box, no player has assigned his move, so these are empty. So what would be the outputs here? So the outputs here would be simply 0 if the game is still going, and 1 if x wins, and 2 if o wins, 0 wins. Okay, so 3 if the game is a draw. Okay, so I have it was actually told me to do this using against some functions, which is actually apply move and display over and is game over, three function actually. So I declared these three functions right here. Okay, and I have to call them in the main function as per the instruction. So I call them right here. So what about the starting of main function? So as like as before, if here this is not equals to 13, what actually that means? Here the total grid number is total number of boxes that I can assign the moves are equals to 9, and the 3 are where the next move by x player would be. So 9 plus 3 is equals 12, and 1 extra from the operating system, so it's actually equals to 13. So here this is if not equals to 13, then simply prints invalid command and return 0. Actually terminate the function, terminate the code. So that's the thing right written here. And what about this? As per the instruction written here, I actually declared a structure variable named game. So my this is the structure itself named tic tac toe, where I have declared, where I have taken uh, a, an 2D character array and a character variable current player, two integer variables move row, and where we are gonna move the column. So that's it, and so on. So besides this, I have okay. What I've done here is simply I have taken the inputs. I have copied the inputs into the uh, game structure variable, where I have a character 2D array. So to store that thing, I actually conducted a loop here, as we can see, and then consecutively stored it into your game dot board 00 01 02 10 12 11 12, and then I actually manually control this by variable k. So what is actually k? It is actually initially was actually 1, because this one was actually this strings address was actually stored in the argv1. So I actually first time I actually took the value of k equal to 1, and then after each iteration I changed the value of k into by 1 actually. So by this line I actually copied the whole current board situation into the game dot board. Okay, so this is my copying or inputting the board status, and then I actually uh, stored where who is the current player from the value of argv 10 0, which is actually this one, whether it is x or 0. Okay, and then right here I actually uh, stored the value of my row number. So what I actually did here is as the thing was stored in character so I actually subtracted 0 from this and got the integer value uh, of that specific uh, what I gonna say, the row number that I have to perform the operation, where there would be assigned the next move. So I subtracted 0 and then got the integer of this 0 or 2, because the thing here was actually taken as string, or actually as character, as it is actually a single character. So I need to uh, convert it into uh, uh, integer. Here I could actually use the a2I function as well. However, I actually use this here, and then same thing for the move game dot move column. Here gv 12 0 and minus 0. Okay, so then I called apply move function, which actually receives a pointer of an integer in game. So here, sorry, not the game wasn't a variable, it was actually a structure variable. So apply move actually receives an address of a structure variable. So where is my apply move? So here is my apply move. So it received my structure variable address, and then I actually uh, modified the uh, specific cell number of the board by this one. This is actually the game board, this array, and then the indexes, and which is actually then which, and that cell would be equals to the number the current player. What I'm trying to say is, suppose I have stored x in the current player variable. So so that current variable, so I have to modify, or I have to assign my move to the cell which has index of row number 0 and column number 2. So that would be our x move. So that empty cell would be filled with x. So I have written the same thing right here, and then the apply move function ends, and then it actually returns to the main function again. Then I actually called the display board function, and then pass game as value. I pass this structure as value, not by reference, so I cannot get the original one. So this one is our display board. So right here I actually printed the whole that current board, the current status, the current condition of my board, which is actually right this one. This one will be printed by this loop or this function. Then this thing will also be terminated and return the control to the main function again. Then the main function would be executed from this line, which actually saying me to call the game over function and return the uh, integer value to the to store that into the status. So what about our is game over? So this is the most crucial part of the whole code actually. Right here I have checked whether the three consecutive row numbers, the cells from the same rows, are equal or not. So if I have a row like this, that that actually means that x has won the game. So for checking the individual rows whether anyone has won or not, I have taken this condition, which is actually iterating from 0 to 2, which is actually from going from 0 row to second index row. So if anywhere, if any row where the first element is not equals to underscore, which actually means that no move has been assigned right in this cell, because if no move has been assigned till our move, then probably no one has won, certainly actually. So then if it is satisfied, then the other condition, which is actually uh, equals that if the first element of the row is equals to the second element of the row, or the first index zeroth index row, zeroth indexed zeroth indexed the zero indexed of first row is equals to, sorry, ith row is equals to the second first index, and first index is equals to the second index, then simply print that the if it, so if suppose they are equal, the zeroth cell, zeroth index cell of rows, that specific row, and the first index of that specific row, and the second index of the specific row, I let that the all of are same. So there can be two possibilities here. The first thing that can be that can happen is that there is x in that if the in that all cells. So if there is x, what would be returned? It would return simply 1. Why? Because the direction was in the direction we are told that if x wins, return 1. So if the three individual cells, consecutive individual cells in a row are x, then it actually indicates the win of x. And what about they are not x? I actually as we actually checked whether whether they are not whether they are underscore or not, so the next possibility would be 0 in that cell. So if all of them are equal, and all of them, none of them are underscore, and none of them are x, so that the only thing that can happen is that they are 0. So simply 0 has won, so this will return 2. So same in the same way I have compared the columns, and here uh, I have compared the uh, what gonna say I have compared the diagonals with these two. So after this after these checkings, if none of them are true, so what can happen right now? The only thing that can so now that can be happened is that the game is still ongoing and none has won, because I have written the winning conditions right here. I have checked them whether they anyone has won or not. So from this line I have checked that whether the game is ongoing or not. So to check that, I have simply take this condition: if any of the cell are equals to this underscore, return 0, which actually denotes that the game is still an ongoing, none has won. And what if still any logic isn't get satisfied, if the all of the if statements here are become false, so what will be actually returned? So that actually means x hasn't won, 0 hasn't won. So what was actually happened? Was the game even ongoing? So by this condition I have actually checked whether the game is still ongoing or not. So it's not ongoing, actually the game has finished. Certainly it has finished. So is the uh, what is the remaining possibility? The remaining possibility is that the game was draw. So for the draw condition, we were told to return 3. So we simply, in the last line, we returned 3. So if we come here, then the status will be the integer value would be returned here, and that would be printed here. So this is the whole code. So if we now just run the code in the terminal, So first of all, I'm gonna copy this file name. Then I'm gonna compile this. So it has they have told me to give the exe file name as ttt. So first of all, gcc file name o, then ttt.exe. So our compilation is done. Now if we give the input, I have actually checked that the these underscores are does not get copied. So I'm giving the input manually. So ttt x underscore 0 0 underscore underscore x 02. So here is the output, which is actually which is actually equals to our desired one. So the code runs properly. So let's try this one. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Oh no, it as there is no underscore here, so it can be pasted here as like the original one. Sorry. uh, I don't know, but it is actually working anyway. Probably. Actually, my code had some mistakes. Not mistake, actually missed specific logic. I wasn't checking whether the given board was fulfilled from uh, by default or not. I actually didn't check whether they give me the filled board or it's an empty one. If it's not an empty one, uh, then there could be no scope, no place to give the next move, so it would be an invalid one. So I have to check this case as well. So to check this, I have taken another counter variable so that I can count how many underscore are there in the board, how many moves are remaining. Actually, that is actually been checked by this. So I added this into while inputting the values in the board arrays as well. So uh, as I add this condition, so I can keep a track when how much time the underscore is present, how much move is remaining, and so on. So after the inputs, I simply check whether the underscore the number of underscore is 0 or not. If the remaining underscore is 0 equals to 0, which I actually initialized. Then from the very beginning of our code, or from the by the given code, the board was fulfilled. So no one can give their move. So it's an actually invalid command, and so I printed invalid command here. So let's run this. Let's run in the this. Let's run this one in the terminal. So we just need to now right now compile the C file, and then we will run this test case. So GCC 2400 41122 lab 12 task C dot C object file tt. So it's compiled. So we can run this now. Let's copy paste. Yes, it is giving invalid command. So our code is right now perfect one. So let's check the last one. Yes, it's completely doing great. So that's all from me. Thank you, sir. Assalamu alaikum.